guys, Dr. Robert Bullen with Cornerstone Family Chiropractic coming to you today to explain a little bit more about our evaluation process. And so typically when someone comes into our office for the very first time, we're going to do a series of evaluations to further understand not just the feeling aspect of what's bringing them into the office, but also understanding more about the functional aspect of maybe what's causing that dysfunction or dis-ease or that just feeling of symptoms or problems, right? Because we very well know and recognize that most people aren't going to come into our office because they're feeling great. Typically it's some form of symptom. It could be neck pain, it could be back pain, numbness and tingling, vertigo, headaches, migraines. There's so many different reasons why people come to us in the first place. And so we definitely recognize that and address that because that's important to us. Making sure that people can feel better is definitely important, but not just solely focusing on just how somebody feels or doesn't feel. Just because symptoms are present or not present doesn't necessarily mean that that individual is a healthy person, right? And so that's why it's so important that we look at the underlying function of the body from a lot of different aspects, right? So one of the very first tests that we do, which is also one of the more important tests that we do, is called a heart rate variability test. It's basically helping us measure the autonomic nervous system, which autonomic means automatic. It's the portion of the nervous system that's working automatically 100% of the time with us not having to be cognizant of it, right? Because you're not sitting here thinking, oh, my heart needs to beat, I need to, produce red blood cells, I need my liver to produce enzymes and all this different stuff. Your body's just working, which is a good thing, automatically. And that this part of the nervous system is going to tell us just how well, okay? Ideally, we want to see folks up in the upper part of this evaluation and ideally in that green box somewhere. If they favor the left, that typically means that they're more sympathetic dominant. They might be an individual who is stressed, who is very high energy, typically go, very little time to slow down, rest, and digest. Because that's where the parasympathetic nervous system comes into play, which is the right side of this evaluation. And the parasympathetic nervous system is the part of our nervous system that allows us to rest, digest, and heal. So we want to try to have an equal balance between sympathetic and parasympathetic. Next, we do very similar to how the Nervoscope works. We do a thermal scan, which shows us where and how significant any inflammation of the spine is. So where is that inflammation and how significant is it? Ideally, we'd like to see little to no inflammation, if at all possible, but understanding that the body does react to physical, emotional, and chemical stress on a continuous basis. So this helps us know exactly where that individual's problem areas are. Understanding the musculoskeletal balance. So where does an individual hold their stress? Is it all on one side? Is it all on another side? Is it all in the neck? Is it in the low back? Is this person stressed to the point where all their muscles are very, very tight and rigid and got very little motion? Or are the muscles nice and relaxed and balanced from left to right, having a good symmetrical balance? And then we check for the range of motion. Range of motion is definitely one of the first things folks will see improvement with when they come in to get adjusted. Typically, immediately, almost after every adjustment, there's going to be improvement of range of motion in whichever area we make the adjustment. And so being able to test how much or how little range of motion an individual has is very important as far as tracking that progress. And so we typically do these every 12 visits or every 3 months. It depends on what type of care that individual needs. So that way we can monitor and track not just functional change, but also continue to track that feeling change, so how that person's feeling the same way. Because typically, if we're seeing improvements from a functional standpoint, that person's gonna feel better also. So hopefully this helps give you guys a little bit more insight as far as why we're neurologically based and the technology that we use in order to help us do that. Thank you.